Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, April 7th of 2025. I'm Gio Benacourt, and this is a recording done about 40 minutes prior to the U.S. session opened by Vantage Markets. All right, well, let's get to it. So we're looking at the Nasdaq on a daily candlestick chart. We see how the markets have opened gap down, and Asian and European markets have obviously fallen following the Friday's close in the American market. So therefore, we have already entered bear market from a technical analysis point where we have retracted. We have moved 20% from that all-time high. That 20% was 17,938. And we closed below that, and we have opened way below that with a gap down. So I'm going to speculate that since European and Asian markets are close in the red, that most likely this will happen. This will follow suit as when the market opens, and we want to be able to also to keep in mind that in the United States, well, actually also in other countries, but in the United States, they have circuit breakers that when the markets fall or move sharply to the downside, there are three levels that the market will stop. The first level is at 7% of a movement. If that drop moves 7%, the market will halt 15%, about 15 minutes. Then it's a 13%, which is a level 2. And if the markets happen to fall with that, that will happen. And that obviously has to be before 3:25 p.m. And the third level is 20%. If the market happens to drop 20% on a drop, or like if this would have been something like this, that will trigger those circuit breakers. And so therefore, we want to be obviously stay very, very sharp on our trades. So therefore, let's take a look at what we could try to consider to be probable levels of support. 16,000. Let's just use round psychological numbers. 16,400 as an estimate, since we have basically almost touched it today, pre-market. So that is going to be our levels. People do like to buy these dips, but I will advise against that for now, because we don't know if this is going to continue moving south or will it rebound, will it find support. But due to the calamities that are happening in other markets and around the world, sell-off is continuing. Momentum is gaining momentum. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 and see what we can come in and speculate for the S&P. All right, so we are basically, we opened gap down, and that open was right below that 5,000 psychological number. So therefore, that's going to be a level of interest for us to come and trade. Obviously, right now the market is above that. Let's see if it will sustain itself above that when the U.S. session opens up. So let's see, 5,100 is going to be our first level of resistance, and then upper Bollinger Band. So yeah, again, obviously looking at probable levels, probability that the market will continue to in the sell-off, just because it's being fueled by the movement in the Asian and European markets. And once the United States opens, we need to see and find out what will happen. So Dow has fluctuated below 37,000 points. Our level of 31,178 hasn't been touched. So I'm just gonna use a lower level of 35,600-ish as our probable level of support. I'm gonna use Friday's close, about right around Friday's close, as my first level of resistance, and the upper Bollinger Band. So let's see if this dip, this movement to the upside, could be seen. I mean, also this could also be just a lot of orders of buying, people that enter the market short. They gotta come out buying. So that could also be the case. But I just wait and see what happens when US opens. Then we have crude oil. So crude oil has finally fluctuated below 60. It didn't close below 60, but it fluctuated below 60. So that will indicate that there is obviously a lot of pressure on crude oil to sell to go below 60 perhaps. So if that's the case, well, we need to come in. Since we already have fluctuated through all 60 and 69, we have to obviously come in and find other levels of support. So 62 is just gonna be the first level of resistance, and then I'm gonna use 64 as our second level. $60 could probably be the level. You could probably just enter into a sideways movement above 60 and below 61. And stay there around there. You could do that, or you could just continue to tank, or you could. We right now there's so much volatility. There's just no reasoning with this market with this behavior. So it is said that you do make more money when the markets. You make faster money when the markets drop. Not that you make more, but faster, because when it moves lower, it moves faster than when it goes up. So I'm just gonna use for Nat Gas these levels. So Nat Gas could probably just stay either inside the Bollinger Bands. Gold, surprisingly, gold has fluctuated to the downside a whole lot today. I would have assumed that because it was a safe haven, it would have been able to sustain itself north of 3,000 or even higher, but at least we so far above 3,000 so far. We did fluctuate below that level, psychological level, but let's see if it'll sustain itself above it throughout the session, or really throughout this week. All right, so this is really already done, and this is already done. Let's just erase this angle. All right, then we have silver. So silver, oh wow, these are just very radical movements. Now that circuit breaker thing is really basically done on the stock market, so the indices will be affected by it, but not the rest of the markets. Let's take a look at copper. So copper up, also open, gap down. What a swing! $4 again. Sorry, it's gonna be that level 390 ish. But I think I'm gonna speculate that copper is going to sustain itself around these levels. I mean, it could also just drop, but these are pretty wide candles. Bitcoin is just tanking. 74,000. People would probably like buying Bitcoin here, but let's see what happens. 80,000, first level of resistance. Second level, I'm going to use a 20-day moving average. Bitcoin moves in thousands. The currency, the euro, had a gap, open gap down. It has been closed. So I'm going to assume that it's going to continue the direction lower. 111 is going to be our first level, and 112 our second one. But I'm thinking more of a sideways movement on the currencies just to sustain itself. So also the pound open gap down below our level of support. So let's use that, 127. Resistance, I'm going to use 130. And the upper Bollinger Band, and dollar index is just creating a triple top. I mean, if we happen, we could probably, it had fluctuated lower, now it's pulling back, but I'm going in, that's a gap, obviously. So that gap, that space of the gap is acting as a level of resistance. Let's see. I'm going to assume, I'm going to speculate that we might see a lower leg off, a leg lower leg. So keep that in mind. So most likely we are going to have a red day today, but these days
bring a lot of volatility, where those, as you have seen already, on how long the wicks are. So keep that in mind, because you could probably get whipsawed a whole lot, and those whipsaws could wipe you out. On the other hand, if you're on the right side of the whipsaw, you could make a lot of money. So keep that in mind. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.